United States Hot Rod Association has brought the monster trucks to sunny California. And on this edition of Monster Truck Challenge, we're at Anaheim Stadium. The monsters are in the outfield. And what a field we have on this edition of Monster Truck Challenge. Today, we're featuring the up-and-comers, the trucks you'll see on future U.S. Hot Rod Association programs. The Monster Truck Challenge trucks today include First Blood, Buffalo Tremor, the Invader, John Moore's No Problem, the Outlaw, and Tuff-E-Nuff. So strap on your seatbelts and get set for the United States Hot Rod Association's Monster Truck Challenge here on ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
I'm Broo, and today we've got some great monster truck racing action for you and some great trucks who are searching for that trophy in the winner's circle. It's a matchup of 6 thunderous trucks. Ray Porkowski behind the wheel of Invader. He's up against Rob Fuchs in First Blood. Then it's John Moore and No Problem against the Tuff-E-Nuff truck and Joey Pittman. Nick Rossi brings the Jersey Outlaw to the line against the Buffalo Tremor and John Kwasniewski. So that's how they line up, and they're all now at the command of our voice of Monster Truck Challenge, Joe Lowe.
Thank you, Ken, and what a tough break for Rob Fuchs and First Blood. A rough ride in his qualifying run, transmission problems, and there you see the truck just sitting there. He's not able to come to the line, could not answer the call. Rob Fuchs had a Woodstock, Illinois in First Blood. He made it to the first round, but he's not going to be able to answer the call. Ray Porkowski, he's lucky enough to get a bye run. The truck out of Florissant, Missouri. Ray Porkowski and the Invader. The Invader's on the starting line waiting for the green light here at Anaheim Stadium. He's all staged. Thumbs up. There he goes. The Invader over the first set of cars, taking it easy, saving the equipment when he has to challenge somebody in round number 2. But the Invader over the cars, and by virtue of the fact that First Blood could not answer the call, Ray Porkowski moves on to round number 2 of Monster Truck Challenge. Now, one of the things they try to do on a bye run is to smooth out the track, and that's exactly what Ray's doing here, taking it easy and smoothing out the crushed cars for future runs. Our second race today, it's Joey Pittman and Tuff-E-Nuff against John Moore and No Problem. Joey Pittman out of Phoenix, Arizona, driving Pablo Cruz's Tuff-E-Nuff. Here's John Moore and No Problem, the Ford Bronco out of Lafayette, Tennessee. That's right, Lafayette, Tennessee. And No Problem. John travels with his crew, his wife Heidi and his daughter Jill. The trucks are at the starting line waiting for the green light. There they go. It looks as though No Problem may have jumped the light. And Tuff-E-Nuff seems to have some problem over the first set of cars. He gets started again. John Moore easily winning the race. John Moore easily winning the race and No Problem. But the question is, did he jump the light? You see the tires move there just a little bit. We could not see the light here. A great run for John Moore and No Problem. He approaches the second set, over the cars and across the finish line. And the U.S. Hot Rod Association confirms it now. Despite being across the finish line first, John Moore did jump the light. He's disqualified. The win goes to Joey Pittman and Tuff-E-Nuff. Here's John Kwasniewski in race number 3. Johnny out of Lackawanna, New York, and the Buffalo Tremor. They call him Johnny K. He goes up against Nick Rossi from Pennsauken, New Jersey, and the Outlaw. Now, in a qualifying run, you can see here, Nick Rossi had some problems, a lot of smoke coming out of the truck, and Nick explains exactly what happened.
Yeah, we blew the oil drain tube out of the top of the valve cover. It gets rid of all the excess gases and oil, and it just blew oil all over the place and almost caught on fire on the headers.
That has got to be a concern of Nick Rossi and the Outlaw. Is it corrected? Can he run strong against the Tremor? Let's find out as they're lined up side by side. Outlaw and Tremor, there they go. Outlaw with a hole shot. Side by side approaching the second set of cars, and the Tremor reaching deep down from within. The Tremor gets the extra horsepower and the win to Johnny K and the Buffalo Tremor. He moves on to round number 2 of the United States Hot Rod Association Monster Truck Challenge. Now, Nick Rossi told us the Outlaw had some problems on the qualifying run. And if you look in the gray truck there in lane number 2, the smoke pouring out, that cost him horsepower and cost him the race. John Kwasniewski and the Buffalo Tremor picks up a win. He does it right here. As he approaches the second set of cars, he gives it that extra something, and it powers him across the finish line as the Outlaw limps across with smoke coming out of it.
Whew. First round action deluxe, and round 2 to come when Monster Truck Challenge continues on ESPN in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody, to Monster Truck Challenge. You know, the USHRA brings its great events all over our country. And great first-round action has brought us to round 2. And so here are the survivors. Rolling into round 2, it's Ray Porkowski's Invader on the line against Tuff-E-Nuff. Joey Pittman had a nice opening round. And the other semifinal race has Fast Loser Jersey Outlaw against the Buffalo Tremor. So that's who's still in the hunt. And leading the charge in round 2, the voice of Monster Truck Challenge, Joe Lowe.
Onward and upward in Anaheim. The crowd pumped up and ready for round number 2. The Monsters are at the starting line. Ray Porkowski and the Invader, Joey Pittman, and Tuff-E-Nuff. Pittman's on the line right now out of Phoenix, Arizona. He's going up against Ray Porkowski and the Invader. Thumbs up from the Invader. There they go. And Invader with a great hole shot. Pittman had trouble on the starting line. And the Invader easily winning. Ray Porkowski moves on to our championship race. But what happened to Tuff-E-Nuff? Ray Porkowski's looking back to see where Tuff-E-Nuff is. He won the race, but Joey Pittman and Tuff-E-Nuff going back in the pits. Apparently what happened on this run, and we can see it here, off the line, he lost the rear drive shaft. In doing that, it knocked the bolt that holds the rear steer steady. So the rear tires are free-flowing. Joey's having to drive with the front and no drive shaft pushing the tires in the back. He can't control the truck. Tuff-E-Nuff is just out of there. There's no way for that truck to get across these cars. The Invader wins in Monster Truck Challenge in Anaheim. Our next matchup will pit this truck, Nick Rossi's Outlaw, the truck that's had lots of engine problems today, against Johnny Kwasniewski and the Buffalo Tremor. Now, Nick Rossi's Outlaw does not appear to be smoking now.
We're running on a spare motor right now. We got a lot of bugs we got to work out of it before we can switch over.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looks like the track a little hazardous, is it?
Yeah, the track's real rough. I'm down on horsepower right now, which has kind of helped me. The horsepower isn't going to win the race tonight.
So that answers the question as to why we don't see any smoke. He's got a brand new engine in the Jersey Outlaw. Johnny K and the Buffalo Tremor's been running strong all day long. A Chevy Ford matchup in Anaheim. One goes to the finals, one goes to the trailers. Will it be the Outlaw or the Tremor? There they go. Outlaw with a hole shot. Horsepower, he says, will not win it. But Johnny K does defeat the Jersey Outlaw. John Kwasniewski and the Buffalo Tremor, almost an instant replay of that previous race as he's faltering on the starting line and then catches them right here. He turns it on and has mastered this track on that second set of cars. John Kwasniewski and the Tremor will take on the Invader in our championship. And what happened to the Outlaw? Well, nothing really. He said he had some horsepower problems, a new engine, a lot of bugs to work out, and this was a good run for a guy who just put a brand new engine in his truck for the first run on this engine.
Now, that's the kind of racing action you can expect to see when you go to a monster truck race. And we're set for more Monster Madness in just a moment after these very important words from our sponsors on ESPN.
The fans at the Providence, Rhode Island Civic Center were treated to some great mud racing. When you come to a United States Hot Rod Association show, if you have a chance to see the mud racing, be sure to check it out because it's some of the most exciting racing you're going to find anywhere. What's mud racing? There's a mud racing pit that's 80 feet long, 3 feet deep. The vehicles literally skim over this 80-foot-long pit of mud, and then they have an 80-foot shutdown area. They must stop within that 80 feet or they're disqualified. Now, one of the greats in the sport is four-time world champion Tom Martin and his Super Trooper. And he's going to demonstrate a run for you. He skims across the mud. And you can see right here the cord that's attached to the back of the vehicle. That is the ignition interrupter. It pulls out after 80 feet and shuts down the engine. After that, it's all brakes. Now, here are some of the vehicles we have here today. This is the S-Kicker, Jeremy Finley, out of Virginia. Skims across the mud, and it's Shutdown City. A great run for Jeremy Finley, 22 years of age, out of Boone's Mill, Virginia. The S-Kicker picking up a little bit on the start, straightens things out, and across the finish line, then the big shutdown. Pulls a little bit sideways, but a great run, 1.748 seconds for Jeremy Finley. Let's boogie. This is Tony Friotti out of Michigan. This is a 1927 Model T Roadster skimming across the mud. He shuts down. No problem at all for Tony. And Let's Boogie is moving on. Tony discussing with his crew that run. That was a good one for Let's Boogie. Again, over the mud. Mud going everywhere in the arena. He comes across the finish line, shuts down, applies the brakes hard. And no problem for Let's Boogie. The time, 1.861 seconds. Next up is 19-year-old Matt Ward. Matt out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and the Mystic Warriors. Through the mud he goes. Does he shut down? Yes. Yes, with plenty of room to spare. The 19-year-old has mastered this course in Providence, Rhode Island. One more time through the mud. 80 feet with no problem. He skims right across it. The brakes go on hard. On our next replay, you'll notice that Matt has lined up beside the ruts. Right beside him, he decides to just cut his own way down this course, and this has worked for him. Through the mud, Matt Ward moves on in the big Ford. 1.906 seconds for the Mystic Warrior. Here comes the Mud Patrol. Paul Schaefer out of Portage, Indiana. The lights on top, a crowd favorite. Through the mud. Does he stop? Yes. He takes it sideways to avoid that disqualification line. The Mud Patrol. The lights are on. The mud is all over the place. And what a great run for Paul Schaefer and the Mud Patrol. Watch this. Turn it sideways. Yeah. He's in there. And the crowd gives him a big round of applause. The time, 1.929 seconds for Mud Patrol. So we're ready for the shootout with the four fastest here in Providence. Jeremy Finley and the S-Kicker. Tony Friotti and Let's Boogie. Matt Ward, Mystic Warrior, and Paul Schaefer and the Mud Patrol. The fastest one through the mud gets the championship here in our shootout. First up is Jeremy Finley, our fastest qualifier out of Boones Mill, Virginia, with the S-kicker. And Jeremy talks about that mud pit.
It's getting pretty bad there at the end. Hopefully we can do about the same we did the first round.
When you said pretty bad, what do you mean?
The starting line's getting real rutted up. The pit's staying good, but the starting line's going away.
And the starting line is where the S-kicker is right now. Jeremy's off the starting line, through the mud, and shuts it down. A good run for the S-kicker. He's waiting to find out his time. As we review it one more time, lifts up the front tires, skims over the mud, tries to avoid the pits and the finish line pole. And the S-kicker is through there with a time of 2.089 seconds. Next up, Tony Friotti, who was busy earlier in the pits.
So minor adjustments here, and explain those a little bit.
Well, on the fuel system, we got too much fuel going to the motor on top end, so we're going to lean the motor out a little bit.
Condition of the track?
It's decent. There's a couple little ruts here and there, but it still should be able to take some power coming off the line.
Let's see if the engine changes and the fuel adjustments help. Let's boogie. Off the line, he's looking great. Steering his way, and no problem to stop in the 80 feet allotted. Tony Friotti out of Canton, Michigan, and let's boogie. A near perfect run until he gets to the end. And he swings it around and stops in plenty of time. The time for Let's Boogie, 2.002 seconds. He takes over the lead. Here's Matt Ward.
I went up to start line. There was one set of ruts right there to start line. One side was real deep, one side wasn't. So I took the left-hand side over to get out those ruts. I think at the start line, I smoked the tires a little bit, and I let off about 5 feet at the finish line. So I got stopped in time.
Matt explains his first-round strategy to Steve McDonald. On the starting line, the Warrior through the mud. Does he shut down? Yes. Yes. With no problem at all. The 19-year-old, you can see again, he's lined up beside those ruts. And that is not a problem at all as he comes through. A great run for the Mystic Warrior. The time, 1.967 seconds. And they just keep getting faster. Here's Paul Schaefer with Mud Patrol. And Matt Ward sits there and says, I'm holding the lead. Can I hold on to it? Paul Schaefer is a longtime veteran, and the 19-year-old has got to be wondering what's going to happen here. A great run for Schaefer. He comes right up to the line. Through the mud. He gets stuck in those ruts, bounces around a little bit, turns on the power, then hits the brakes hard, and comes within inches of the disqualification line. This is a great run.
We changed air pressure, shocks, and for the rough tracks. The car's got so much motor from Vance in his engine. They build a race motor, and they got so much horsepower, we've been killing the motors and, you know, cutting the horsepower down.
Strategy going into this one?
I had to find a good spot to line up. I didn't know where to line up. It was like 5 different passes out there, and I just picked the right one.
Welcome back, everybody, to USHRA's Monster Truck Challenge. I'm Ken Broo. Okay, only 2 trucks left. We're down to the championship round. And the finals couldn't give us 2 better trucks. This for all the bragging rights. John Kwasniewski in the Buffalo Trimmer and Ray Porkowski driving Invader. So get ready for the final round. Here to bring it to you is the voice of Monster Truck Challenge, Joe Lowe.
As the trucks come around to stage for our championship, they are the Invader, Ray Porkowski out of Florissant, Missouri, the hot-running Ford on the U.S. Hot Rod Association Monster Truck Challenge Tour. And he's going up against a Chevy, a new Chevy, John Kwasniewski's Buffalo Trimmer out of Lackawanna, New York, a truck that John built to try to keep up with the competition.
Yeah, it's been pretty tough competition. Look, we built this brand new truck just for this, and we expect to get in the finals quite a few times with it.
Well, now that you're in the final round, what is it going to take to win?
Well, we're going to go all out, hammer it. That's what it takes. Whatever it takes to win, and we're going to do it.
Well, good luck to you out here.
Thank you very much.
Johnny K and the Buffalo Tremor. Now, earlier this year, these two trucks faced one another on a turning course at Tampa Stadium. Let's take a look at that run. The Buffalo Tremor a slight lead with the Invader coming from behind. Look at this turn. Ray Perkowski using the rear steer to his advantage. Johnny K having some trouble, and the Invader opens up the lead. The Invader won that one handily in Tampa, but this is another ballpark. This is straight line racing. Here we go in Anaheim. The Tremor with the lead, and look, again, the Invader comes from behind. Could he catch up in time? Did he catch up in time? We'll have to take another look at that one before we can determine a winner. Was it the Tremor or the Invader? The Invader off the line looked very, very good. He picks up right here and starts to turn it on and to come from behind. He does come from behind. Your winner, Ray Perkowski and the Invader.
Well, I tell you, I don't know how close it was. All I do is, I try not to look at the other guy, but I knew he was right next to me all the time.
Well, they had to take it to the replay booth and kind of figure out who won it. It was a photo finish, but an incredible race.
Thank you. This is a great way to start the season off.
And a win for the Invader. Johnny K was running strong. Some handling problems right here. The only flaw in that run, that half second or so to correct that, is what cost him the race. So the Invader wins here in Anaheim on the United States Hot Rod Association's Monster Truck Challenge.
Back with some final thoughts in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. We love to hear from you. You're out there watching. We want to know what's on your mind. Any questions about monster truck racing or the program that we do? Write to us at Monster Truck Challenge, 477 East Butterfield. That's suite number 400, Lombard, Illinois, and our zip code is 60148. You might even hear your letter answered right here on Monster Truck Challenge. Oh, let's look back for a second here. Some highlights with our pal Joe Lowe.
Can it spin Invader all the way today? First disqualification run. Ray Perkowski in the far lane. A little bit of a bobble there to the first set of cars, but a great qualifying run. Then he had to face Joey Hittman and Tuff-E-Nuff. Tuff-E-Nuff falters on the line. He spins a drive shaft, loses the rear steer, and he's going nowhere as Ray Perkowski and the Invader go to our championship round, where he faced the Buffalo Tremor. Off the line, they're evenly matched. In fact, Tremor has a little bit of a lead, bobbles over the cars, and in a photo finish, Ray Perkowski and the Invader gets the championship. It's been Invader all the way today, and you can expect to see more of this great truck on future U.S. Hot Rod Association Monster Truck Challenge shows. Once again, your winner in Anaheim, the Invader.